My name is Linda Watts, and I have been a Habitat owner for 35 years. I was so incredibly fortunate, along with my children, to have the first Habitat home in Sioux Falls and South Dakota. I was a librarian, and when my husband passed away, I was working part-time because I had two small children. After he passed away, I had to find a full-time job. I always knew that for my children's sake, stability was a big deal, and stability really never comes with renting, because you always face the possibility of, like, the rent is going to go, too high that you can't afford it, or they're going to sell the property. I wanted something that said more permanent. A single income was not going to allow me to do that. And so my brother, who lives in Des Moines, had been doing things with the Des Moines Habitat for Humanity chapter. And he's the one that told me about Habitat. And then shortly after he told me, I saw an announcement for an informational meeting at First Baptist Church. And so I went thinking I would just find information about it. And one of the ladies that was there at the informational meeting, I had known through working in the library. She leaned over and said to me, "You should apply, you should apply." And I just thought, me? And a couple days later, she called me and said, "Are you going to?" And I was like, well, maybe I should. And so I did apply. I was absolutely shocked to get the call that I was going to be the first homeowner in Sioux Falls. I can still remember that when I hung up the phone, I looked at my kids and I couldn't even say anything. I was just like, I was excited, I was nervous, lots of different emotions that day. The house was not a new build. It was a rehab, and it actually didn't sit on this property. It had to be moved. We watched the demolition of the building that was on this property, and then watched this house come across Cliff Avenue and down the street, and actually be sat down on the foundation. And then we started rehabbing. We were a ragtag group of volunteers figuring out what we were doing day by day. Wonderful, wonderful people, though, came alongside. A lot of the volunteers came from First Baptist Church, because that was where the informational meeting was. And then I had friends that came and helped. I had some family that came, but like I say, we were ragtag. I said this on the day our house was dedicated. I said, I will never be able to walk in my door without knowing that many, many people helped me. And when I shut that door at night, I will always be grateful for those that stood with me, picked up a hammer, made suggestions, donated. For me, it meant everything. And for my children, they recognized that others helped us along the way. And I see it in them now, that they are just fine human beings. No matter the amount of the donation, it will return tenfold, hundredfold. You know, you are building into the life of families, and you can't put a price on that. It is because of the hundreds of people that helped out that my children were safe, secure, and without a doubt, much better off than they would have been without Habitat.